My name is Marissa Lester, and I'm interviewing Peggy Pratt today. So, Mrs. Pratt, what was your occupation when you were here at Yavapai?
Well, when I arrived, I believe it was in 1980, and my husband and I came with our new little baby boy, and our job was to run the men's dorm, the Supai dorm. One wing was the nursing students, so that was a girls' wing, and then we had all boys in the rest of the area. And I can't remember now how many boys we had. I think it was 150.
You know, I think I read somewhere that it was 150.
Yes, I think so. And then Yavapai was all the girls. And Cindy Palasotti ran the girls' dorm, and Peggy Pratt ran the boys' dorm. And I registered the boys, and we matched them up with who they thought they could be compatible with. We had RAs. We interviewed RAs, and we took them on a retreat and told them what we expected of them, which was sitting at the desk and registering guests, family members, and having them sign in and out. And they worked the desk until, I think, midnight. And then the office, we had campus safety come on after that to secure the dorms. And all we had down in Supai was a pool table and a big TV and a bunch of chairs, a soda machine. And we had an apartment that I had a kitchen in that the boys could come in and make cookies or do whatever they wanted. Sometimes they wanted to make dinner, and so they made their dinner and off to their room. And so mainly it was just keeping peace in the dorm.
So was there a curfew then?
I believe there was on, gosh, I can't even remember now. There was during the school days, and then on the weekends there was probably a 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock curfew.
So that was the Supai dorm, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do any other jobs while you were at Yavapai County?
Well, once a week we had room check. We had to make sure that the boys were taking care of the room, so I had to do the room check. And we had a cleaning lady that came in. She handed out the vacuum cleaners and any dusting things they need. So I had to do room check to make sure they were keeping their room respectable. And then if they weren't, they got fined, and they had so many hours to shape up. I had to attend some meetings. We had socials that we provided for the dorm kids at that time. And the other committees, I think after Cindy Palasotti left, I was on a committee to hire the next person that would be in charge of the dorms. I wasn't in charge of them, but someone else was, so I had help interview with that. They asked me, I was a teacher prior to this in Mesa Public Schools, so I had my teaching certificate. So whenever they needed a substitute and they couldn't find one, they usually called on me. And then I would have one of the dorm kids babysit my son. And so he grew up just having boy babysitters, which was young men babysitters, which was kind of fun. I think they liked that. 1 year, the swimming teacher, Kimo Miles, had to leave to go. He went on a half-a-year sabbatical of something, and so I took over all his swimming classes. So I was only gone for different spots during the day. So it wasn't necessary for me to be there all the time.
That's cool.
We also worked with the boys that weren't doing well in school. We got them hooked up with counselors and study partners and things like that. If the boys had problems in any of their classes, they would come to me, and we would find out what we could do to get them on track again.
So did you ever do a study session yourself, or like help them with homework yourself?
No. If they really couldn't study very well in the library, they didn't feel they could do that, they used our living room. We also hosted a Athletes in Action, which is a Christian Bible study for the athletes in the dorm, because we housed the basketball, baseball, golf, and tennis team. Well, we didn't have golf. We had the tennis. Maybe we had runners then too, and so we had a Bible study for the athletes if they wanted to come in once a week in our living room. So that was kind of fun. That was neat.
So, did your husband help you out with the dorm stuff too, or did he have another job?
Actually, he came up and got the job first. And he was also one of the baseball coaches. And I just came along for the ride, just having a baby, left teaching in Mesa. And so this was going to be my time to just be a mother. But there was a tragic accident out at Bradshaw Mt High School, and the baseball coach was killed. And so they called Tom and said, could you please come in and be the PE teacher and pick up the program? So he went to work every day out at the Bradshaw High School, and then I took over the dorm during the day. So that's how that worked out. But, and then during the summer, we had elder hostel that stayed in the dorms. And so I stayed in the summer and got all the adults situated in the dorms for the elder hostel program. And also they had sports camps in the dorm during the summer too. So we were quite busy in the summer.
Oh, wow. So
we got the college kids out and then put in the summer programs. So we were busy all the time.
So did you ever have any downtime during the day, or was it like
mostly when they were all in school, and it was just coming and going and coming and going, and it was just like a big, huge extended family. And there were times when Andy would take a nap and Gail had to be quiet. And I remember our front yard at Supai, you could oversee the baseball field, and so we would take little plastic pools out there in the summertime and lawn chairs, and all the dorm boys that were involved in the baseball game would watch the baseball game, spectators up there, and they'd play in the pool and play with Andy. So it was just kind of a fun family thing. The downtime was probably at Christmas time, or a lot of times the weekends the boys would go home. Most of them were from Phoenix or around the area. So a lot of them left over the weekend. So there wasn't much happening then.
So what was the average age of the boys in the dorm?
Right out of high school, which would probably be, 17 or 18, maybe until 21, 22. Some of them stayed 3 years. Mm-hmm. So then they'd leave and another group would come.
That's cool. So did you ever have to call the police on any of your boys?
What we did is we wrote them up for discipline. Mm-hmm. There was a marijuana bust one time, and I did have to sit on the stand and say, yes, I did see the marijuana. So the boys were dismissed from the dorm. If they were rowdy at night, they would be written up for discipline. But they really kind of behaved themselves. There really were not that many problems. Some of them came a little intoxicated, but we just got them back to their room. So it's all right.
So were there strict rules then? It sounds like
yes, there was, and they, we had time curfews, and the noise had to be down. They couldn't have their screens off. They had to go in and out through the front door, things like that. Register their guests in and out. And I would say on the whole they were very respectable. Most of the athletes were there on a low scholarship, so they knew they had to behave. We had the nursing students that entered in a different area, and they were the more mature girls. So I never had any problems with them. They were just awesome.
That's good. So were the rules, did you have any of your house rules, or was it more like the college itself imposing those rules? Because I noted that we had a president change from Dr. Russo to Dr. Walker. Did that change the policies?
No, it didn't. Most of the dorm rules were in place when I got there. And if anything needed to be changed, the RAs would make suggestions. And we had meetings with them once a week to find out if everything was okay on their hall, and work on their job schedules and things like that. I would say that the dorm rules were probably made by the students themselves. What would be a good living situation for them. within reason. Cindy Palasotti had those all well in place when I got there, and she was our boss until Paula was hired, and then she just took on and did about the same thing too.
So did you see like a major change in the kind of like the type of student from when you first started to when you towards the end?
No. I think they kind of, people change as the world changes, and I think you just change with them. I've been teaching out in Chino for 20 years, and I think the kids that come in now are exactly like they were 20 years ago. They might be a little bit more worldly or, dressed differently, but I don't think there's as much as a generation gap as what we all think there is. I think we're all on the same level, really.
So why did you leave Yavapai College and go out to Chino High School?
Well, it kind of went in a different way. My husband got a job at Arizona State University, and so that's when we left, when he got a job. And we also had our little girl at the when we were dorm parents there. I gave birth to our daughter Amy, and that was really a wonderful experience for the boys. I think they all just, it was so neat to see this family, grow and had our little girl and brought her home. She was brought home with a bunch of boys all around her. She had her first birthday party. We had a big birthday party in the lobby for her. So it was really kind of fun. It was really neat. I think we were the family, their family away from home.
Yeah.
We didn't have too many out of state, a few. But I think it was kind of good. I had boys coming in with problems, girl problems, school problems, car problems, all that kind of stuff. The only, and, it didn't, I don't think it changed that much in those years. The one thing I think that has changed is having all this new technology. I don't remember any boys having any computers of their own. We didn't have any computers. Mm-hmm. And they all came up to the library to use the big, huge hunkin' ones that first started out. And the cell phone. I mean, they used my phone. And we had two payphones in the lobby. And I think just at the high school right now, seeing everyone carrying their cell phones and using them, I think that is the biggest change of all. And for the worst. I don't think it's necessary.
No, I understand. Because it seems like things have been less personal.
Yes.
It's more like, it's more of an annoyance to answer your cell phone, but yet we have cell phone for convenience. So.
Exactly.
So did you ever have a moment where you just wanted to quit right then and there and move out?
Looking back, no, but probably living in it, maybe sometimes I did. I think the hardest one was when we had the campers come in the summertime, and they were not under my rules, they were under their coach's rules. So they would run all around and everything, and late at night, and we all needed to get our sleep, but the little campers were all running around, so I'd have to go to the coaches and say, you got to get control of these kids. So that was hard, when I'd have to get up in the middle of the night and do things like that.
I noticed in the movie,
the early days,
that you used to put flowers out to make the dorm smell nice.
Oh, yes, I had flowers all the time. We planted them. I had some guys that were really interested in all that kind of stuff, so I did. I kind of homed it up a little. That's fun. Cool. It was fun.
So how many, were there 2 in a dorm then? Or
I think there were 4. There were 4 boys to 1 dorm. It was like a suite, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and the bathroom in the middle. I think it's still that way. I don't know, maybe they redid them.
I don't know, I haven't been down there.
I haven't either. The outside of it has changed. I have walked up to the backyard. In fact, my husband built the little backyard with a little fence around it so that Andy could play, and he made a big sandbox and everything. And the boys would come back and play in the sandbox with Andy, or play ball with them out in the front yard area. We had picnic tables out there. We had a lot of barbecues in the evening. Another thing that my family could do was go up to the cafeteria and eat with the boys, and they paid for that for us. It was a great way for us as a new family to save money because we didn't have to pay anything for the dorm to live there. So the money that we got, we just saved and put away so that we could buy our first home. So that was really neat.
So would you say, like, as a college population as a whole, were there more boys at that time at Yavapai, or about 50-50?
We had a lot of commuter people too, but most of them came in the evenings because they had jobs during the day. So I don't know. You mean just from the dorms?
Well, I just wondered.
We had more girls than guys, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. More athletes in my dorm. We did have the girls' softball team in the girls' dorm and the volleyball team, but it seemed like we had the majority because we had the basketball and the... I think what was fun is the different cultures.
Yeah.
That was something. And we had a large Indian population, too, that would come. Mm-hmm. And so that was interesting to see how they blended in with, the Caucasians and the or Anglos or whatever we'll call it. I don't know what we'll call it. And let's see, we had some African American kids, and it was really kind of cool to see them all blend together and get along. We did have a few fights. The boys would fight sometimes, but then you just had to pull them apart, hose them down with water, and discipline them. I think maybe we did have to ask 2 or 3 of them to leave at different times, and they would just have to find housing off campus.
So, and say, have you seen, were there a lot of changes, like building-wise or structural-wise?
Yes. Oh my goodness. This whole area has just changed completely. You almost knew everybody on campus about 20 years ago. And it was, actually it's been 27 years, I guess. None of this, the 2 dorms were here. We had the building where we are in right now. Mm-hmm. It was the library, and the classrooms we had like 2 buildings with classrooms in it. It was just entirely different. It really was different.
I'll say, I was talking to Lyle Minkler before, and he said they used to have a fountain.
Oh, yes.
But they took it down.
They took it down. And we had many, many steps that came up to the 2nd level. And we had, I know you have a gorgeous bookstore now. We had a little teeny weeny one. And the students had a little campus mailbox up here that the kids that lived in the dorms got all their mail up here. Nice. So they would all march down for dinner together and go back. Because they couldn't cook in their rooms or anything. They could have a refrigerator. But they couldn't cook.
So no microwaves then?
No, they had to use mine. And there was a kitchen, I believe, in Yavapai that if they didn't want to use mine or Cindy's, they could use that one. But most of them came up here. They weren't too interested in only cookies. They all wanted cookies or brownies or something, so they made them in my kitchen.
That's cool.
I think it was a great way for kids to be away from home right out of high school. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a scary situation, and community colleges are so caring. I just think that to go from a big university where you're a number and live on campus where you don't have a clue who anybody is, we made sure that we made it more of a family situation.
That's cool.
So it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I really did.
So was there ever, like, I don't know, the most rewarding experience in the dorm? Can you remember anything like that? Or?
Well, I do know I really liked it when the kids came back to see us. And they still do. I run across kids all the time that were in the dorms. Some of them went off to play professional baseball. That is the most rewarding. And to hear them talk, those were the funnest days. So that was fun. I think the whole thing was just being able to be home with my kids and work and be involved in a college life. It's really neat. I really liked it. And I got to take classes too. You know, in the evening when my husband came home, then I would come up and take some classes on campus.
So what classes?
Fun things. Sewing and pottery and let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I took, Faye Matsumoto was still here, and she was here when I was here, and then she left, and I took classes from her with the, she had a running class, a fitness class, so I took a lot of those. And I made a lot of friends, the counselors and the campus life director, just all the people up here that worked. It was really great. And the presidents would always have the faculty and us over for dinner, and that was cool. That was cool.
So, is there anything else that I don't know you?
No, I think we got it.
All right.
I think we do.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome, honey. Thank you.